Hey guys, how are you doing? Today I'm going to talk about a mistake I made recently using ads. And it was a feature that I hadn't normally seen in the setup process before, and I was a bit overconfident using it. In fact, I was more than overconfident, I was pretty reckless. I didn't do things in the right way, put it that way. So I thought I would share this story with you, so hopefully you won't do the same thing, and also give you some tips as to how you might use this feature if you want to use it at all. So this type of feature is called the adjust bids by placement feature. I'll show you exactly how that works in a moment. They've recently changed how the ad setup looks, and it's all kind of back to front. I don't know if it was there before or not, but something caught my eye about it, and that's what made me test it out. And I'll show you what that is in a sec. But yeah, I don't know if I was just feeling brave, stupid, or unjustifiably confident. Because I'm definitely, I've been doing ads for 2 years. I'm not sure why I made this move, but it was just, I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. So I'm just on the Amazon.com ad platform now. I'm not setting up a real ad, but I'll just kind of make it up. So I think I wanted to set up an ad campaign that I set up in the UK, basically, which was basically a lotto campaign. It wasn't a typical lotto campaign where you throw all the books into, one ad, but it was one where there were a bunch of books, maybe 15 books, all in a similar niche or related niche. And it worked really well in the UK, so I thought I would try it in the US. That was my initial reason for setting it up. And I was doing it a completely normal way at first, except that I was putting the default bid quite high. I don't know why. I think I wanted to have results quite quickly, so I think I put something like 32 cents, something like that, which is really high for me anyway to start, especially with an auto kind of campaign. I would normally start really low, maybe 12 cents or something like that. But I don't know. Again, I don't know why I did this, but there you go. This is what I did. And then you get to this section down here, negative targeting. And that used to be the end of the campaign. You used to press go and that was it. But now they've changed things around. And then they have this bit at the bottom, which is the campaign bidding strategy. Now, I know they've had this for quite a bit, where you can change these dynamic bids, and I normally do it to down. But I don't remember this bit. But the thing that caught my eye was this sentence right here. It says that as advertisers who adjusted their top of the search bids during the last holiday season saw an 87% increase in conversions compared to those who did not. And I think that sold it to me for some reason. At the time, I was like, great, I'm going to go in full amount. And so the suggested placement was 70%, which is interesting because it was 70% when I did it, right, with the last campaign. So I just took their word for it. Yeah, okay, great. I'm going to put 70%, right? So what that means is, if we just go to a kind of information thing here, we can learn about bids placement if you want to do that, right? So what it means is that if you have a bid, let's say my bid was $1 and I put this up to 100%, then if I was lucky enough to get my placement at the top of the search, my bid would go up to $2. So instead of being $1, it would go up to $2. And then it's just changes, depending on what your percentage is going to be. And you could do that up to 900 times, 900%. That's a lot, obviously. And we're talking about books here. We're not talking about products with a huge profit margin. Obviously, it's only $2 to $3 that we're working with to remain kind of within our profit margin. So yeah, the top of the search first page, it refers to sponsored products that appear at the top row of the first page of the shopping results. And the product pages refer to the sponsored products ads on the product details pages and also on non-shopping placements such as the add to cart page. And then the rest of the search refers to sponsored products ads that appear in the middle or at the bottom of shopping results. And they also include sponsored products ads in the second page of shopping results and beyond. So that's really interesting, I think, because it's actually included in sponsored products. Anything after the first page is actually classed as rest of search. So that's interesting to know. You should never do this before you've already got an ad, first of all, that is working and converting well. Because until you know that something's converting, first of all, you don't even know if your product is going to convert well at the top of the page. And I'll show you in a minute how you can go in and check how well your books are actually converting, if they have a top of the page space, if they have a product space. And you can see all of that information in the back end of your ads, back end of the ads platform under the placements tab, which I'll show you in a sec. So what I should have done is, had a campaign obviously that was already working, and then I wouldn't need to do this now anyway. You can do this once you already have a campaign up and running. So you don't need to do this at the start. So if you think, oh no, if I don't set this up now, then I'm not going to be able to do it later, you can do it later. And I'll show you how in a second. I think because I already had an ad campaign that was working well in the UK, I just kind of completely ignored my own advice and thought, yeah, this is going to work in the US too. And never do that, because if a campaign works well in one country, there is absolutely zero guarantee that it's going to work. Okay. It's like setting up a completely new ad. So you just set it up as though it's completely, you have no information basically. So I had no information. So I shouldn't have been, going this hard into this campaign without knowing anything, pretty much, right? So anyway, so I did all that, and I put 70% on it, and then at the daily budget, I put $27. So $27 for the budget for the day is large for me. I think it's the largest I've ever set a budget. And I have gone up to sort of $20 a day now for some campaigns that are doing well, but I've only increased that after they're obviously doing well. It's after I've had the experience of that's working really well, and the ACOS is under control and everything like that. And then I may have increased the bids and increased the daily budget. But obviously I haven't just gone in and just gone, oh yeah, well, this is obviously going to be a success. Put in $27. So anyway, I put in the $27 and I hit launch. And normally these things take quite a while to work. It seemed that the ad must have kind of gone on very quickly. When I checked back, and I think it must have only been 10, 12 hours maximum. I don't think it was very long. But no, of course, the whole budget was gone. And I had one sale for it as well. Oh dear. Actually, another sale, at least one more came in after that from the sale, because obviously it was so quick that the other sales hadn't filtered through. So when I looked back later on, there were more sales coming in, but not very many, I would say. So what I did was, obviously, first of all, I just completely reduced the bid very, very low. The standard base bid, I think I went down to about 9 cents. And then I also obviously took off those percentages as well, and, treated the ad like someone should, in a sensible way. Okay, so now I've shown you what I did. Don't do that, but I'll show you how to change these percentages as well in your own campaign. Okay, so now I'm on Amazon UK platform, and this is the auto ad that I have had running for a bit that's worked really well. And so what you do is, when you're on the main campaign page and you see all your different ads, when you click on that ad, it will come to this section, and this is where you can see this menu here, and it's this one that you want to go and look at, so placements. And this will show you how you're performing in these different areas. So for example, at the top of the search at the moment, this has a 15% ACOS, so that's done really well. And the product page is at 22%, still good, but a bit higher. And the rest of the search at 19%. So right now, this is actually performing the best. So the top of the search is performing the best. And if I wanted to, then I could, use this and increase my percentage to increase my bid when I get the opportunity to be at the top of the search results. This is on 10%. I only did this recently. This was actually on 0 anyway. What I would say is, if you're ever going to do anything like this, just ensure that you are noting this down and you do take notes. You put the date whenever you make the change, and then you can always refer back. I really track absolutely every tiny thing that I do. So this is a really handy thing anyway, because it's quite interesting to know how your book performs in these different areas. And of course, you can really optimize your campaign by using these percentages to give yourself a better result and potentially more sales. Just don't do it in the way that I did, of course. That is crazy. So currently, for example, this budget has a £20 a day. So that's quite high, but it wasn't that high to begin with. You know, when I set this up, I think it was on £5 a day, and then I've just gradually increased it. £5 isn't really enough though, anyway, because this was an automatic campaign with lots of books in it. So £5 wasn't going to be enough to cover that on a daily basis. So I've increased it to 20, and it has reached almost that some days. Now, obviously, because it's so busy, being in Q4, being a huge amount of traffic, obviously, on Amazon, and you do need to take advantage of that if you have the budget for it. If you have the ability to do it and your ad is working well, then there's no harm. Just make sure you're tracking absolutely everything. Now I work in terms of I want to at least break even with the ACOS, and if it's a bit slightly profitable, that's fine. If it's slightly unprofitable, that's fine as well. It's not for making like giant profits. It's about the organic sales in addition to any sales that I'm making from these ads. And I'm definitely noticing some results from upping my ads now since November. So I'm just going to talk about something you can take away from this. So basically, if you're curious about this feature, then I definitely recommend having an ad that's already converting well before you start kind of messing around with the percentages. So ideally have an ad that's converting well and it's bringing you in sales. And then you can actually just adjust your percentages as I showed you in this placement section, just depending on how well your ad is actually performing for each one. So obviously, if you see that actually your ACOS for the top of the results is like 80%, then you don't want to increase your bid to be at the top of the search if it's already not converting for you. But whereas in my case, if you just saw there, that was converting well and it was a 15% ACOS, which was really good. So I could afford, if I wanted to, try and increase the bid there. And that is going to, in turn, probably increase the ACOS somewhat. And then you just want to make sure you are tracking every change, as I've already said. Really, really important. And don't set up this kind of campaign without already having some idea of what's even right for you. So if you don't have any idea whether your book is going to convert well at the top of the results, then there is no point in just kind of going in blind with it. Because being at the top of the search results actually is not always going to be the optimal position for your book. And that's a assumption that probably a lot of people make. They think, well, if I'm at the top of the search results, I'm guaranteed, that's the best place to be. But it's not actually always the best place to be. And you can see that from just your numbers and figures about what position in the search results work well for you when it comes down to your ACOS and your conversion rate. So that's about it. I just wanted to share this story with you, and hopefully that can prevent you from making the same mistakes. Let me know if you've tried this feature before or how you're getting on with ads, or if you just want to make, any kind of comment about how you're getting on, then feel free to leave that below. So have a fantastic rest of your week, and I will speak to you again very soon.